Hello class! Today we are going to look at a new topic. Today, students will be able to identify features and predict results of exponential functions. Exponential functions. Okay, so an exponential function, a function of the form y equals a times b to the power of x. Okay, so now we're doing stuff to the power of x. Here is your exponential parent function, y equals e to the power of x, and it looks like this. Okay, that's what it looks like. Okay, so an exponential growth, when you read it like a book, it means it's growing. Okay, exponential decay, when you read it like a book, means it's going down. Okay, that's about as easy as I can tell you. Okay, compound interest. So this is actually one of my favorite things about exponents that we're not going to get into quite yet. But how it is you can predict how much money you're going to have. Say you put money in a bank account that collects interest over time. This formula here is how you would predict how much money you're going to have after a certain number of years. Or vice versa, you can also actually figure out how much in debt you would go in something that you are collecting interest on that you're trying to pay off. So compound interest is really, really cool. A is the amount after t years, so t is years. P is the principal, meaning the amount of money you originally put into your bank account. R is the interest rate, meaning how much interest are you gaining, and T is the number of years. Now, if you're losing interest on something, then it'll be 1 minus R. But we'll get into that later. All right, so your lesson for today, you're going to be doing a worksheet that looks a lot like this. Mine has different equations, so you'll just have to follow along and see what I'm doing, and then you'll do it on your papers. Okay, so here's how this goes. First, they want the domain. So this equation here, we need to type that into our calculator. Okay, so take out your calculator. Let me make it smaller so I can see what I'm typing. 1 second. There we go. Okay. So we made it smaller. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's type in this equation here. We need to type in y equals, okay, negative parentheses 1 divided by 3 parentheses, do this with me, to the power of, that's the caret key, x. Now remember, yours looks a little different. Yours right here will show you caret x. That's okay. Then hit plus 6. Okay, so you should hit the same exact buttons that I hit except for this little arrow right here. So we're going to look at that. So hit graph. That's what it looks like. Okay? Now, there's something that we didn't go over that I want to go over now. This line right here, okay, that's called your asymptote. Okay, I know it's a really funny word. It's called your asymptote. So on a graph, let me go back to the picture. On this picture here, this line is your asymptote. That's going to get infinitely close to 0, but it never actually touches it. Here's why. Let's say you're standing here, okay? And I tell you, go halfway between you and the other side of the screen. Okay, so now you're here. And I tell you, okay, go halfway again. So now you're here. Halfway again. Here. Halfway again. Here, halfway again, 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 here. You never actually hit the very end. You're always just going halfway until the very end, but you never actually hit it. You get infinitely close to the end, but you never actually hit the end, okay? That's called your asymptote. So this line gets infinitely close to 0, but it never actually touches it. Okay, really cool, huh? It's one of the cool things about math. Okay, so let's look here at our worksheet. Okay, so they want the domain of this line. So how far to the left is this line going to go? Well, this line continues forever and ever and ever, so it goes forever. And how far to the right? Well, this line's going to go forever and ever to the left, so forever. So we call that all real numbers, remember? So our domain here is all real numbers. All right? Now we need to figure out our range. Okay, so let's look back at our graph. Okay, how far down is it going to go? Forever. How far up Remember, it stops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So it's going to get infinitely close to 6, but it's never actually going to touch it. So how we write that is, so we said that for the range, the smallest it goes is to negative infinity, but the highest it's going to go is to 6. But remember, it never actually touches it, so we need to take that line off. Okay? And then we know our test isn't going to write this, so then we can cross that off if we want to. Okay? So that is your range. Y is everything less than 6. Okay? You know what would be easier? Let's go ahead and draw this on our graph since we're going to have to do that anyway. If we do that, then I can just focus on the graph instead of going back and forth with the calculator. So hit second table. Okay. Let's go back a little ways. So -2, -3, that's what I'm going to plot first. So -2, -3, right here. Okay, let's go back. Then we have -1, 3. So -1, 1, 2, 3. Then we'll have 0, 5. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we know it's going to get infinitely close to 6. So your line's going to do something like that. Okay? So that's how you would graph that line. Now, the y-intercept. So where does this line cross through the y-axis? Look at it. Count it. Where does it cross? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's at point 0, 5. I want it listed as a point. Do not list it to me as just a number. I want it as a point. Okay, the asymptote. Where is our asymptote at? Okay, remember I told you what an asymptote is. It's that line that it gets infinitely close to, but it never actually touches. So we know it's at 6, so the asymptote line goes through like this. And I want you to draw me your asymptote on your graph for every problem. Okay, so your asymptote is at 6. Something equals 6. It goes through the y-axis, so it's y equals 6. Okay? Now, in behavior, I want you to tell me, is it an exponential growth or exponential decay? Okay, so look here. Is this an exponential growth or an exponential decay? Exponential, I mean, I spelled that right, growth. Exponential growth. Okay, so I want you to finish the rest of the worksheet on your own. Rewind this video if you need to go back and reference something or look at something. Feel free to ask any questions because this is your first day on it. Okay, I know you guys can do it. Don't let it be scary. Use your calculator for all the help, okay? Rewind this video, watch it again if you still need extra help, okay?